Welcome. Good evening. Oh, let me fix myself here, guy. Welcome to another edition of The Goat and the Ghost. Before I get into tonight's episode, the Emmy Award winning, no, Emmy nominated. No, I don't. We're not nominated for anything. We don't win any awards here on The Ghost and the Goat. I'm trying to fix my webcam. It's a little shrunkwad. Before I get going here, I want to just give a quick shout out. Not really a shout out, just kind of like a hey. Right. So this guy right here, I showed him at the beginning of the show. His name's Ken Lively. Ken Lively, he worked for the agency that I worked in as he was one of the maintenance workers. So last year when the AC units blew out at Buttonwoods Group Home, adult group home for adults living with mental illness, pretty severe mental illness. Ken came down. He's like, I can't fix your AC unit, but yeah, I'm going to buy you a ton of ACs and we're going to throw them in all the windows. And these guys are these guys are like sweltering in 98 degrees, and it was a weekend, so of course nobody's available. But Ken came down and he saved the day. Ken's mom is Melissa Lively. She's a giant supporter of everything I do. She Melissa put the relief worker. She was like, when Melissa showed up, all your worries as a worker on the shift went away because you knew Melissa was gonna like really help you reel the shift in and be an awesome support, and she was for all the time that I knew her. Melissa moved to go and take care of her mom in West Virginia, but since then she's been a regular viewer on our show, and I just wanted to give a shout out. Last week her son Ken Lively passed away at age 34. 34. Melissa's only child. Melissa's my heart bleeds for you, lady. I don't know how you. Well, I know you're going through somewhat, but not. I've never lost a kid, so my heart goes out to the entire Lively clan family, to both his parents, Melissa and Roger, to his grandmother, who he left, his whole family, aunts and uncles, cousins, everybody who knew Ken. Rest in peace, dude. Having to wait for him tomorrow. I'm gonna go. It'll be good. Hey, Anita, nice to see you from Great Britain. Thanks for tuning in. This is, like I said, The Ghost and the Goat. I am paranormal investigator Buddy Thayer. I'm going to take you by the hand. I'm going to walk you into a paranormal world. It's not always about haunted cemeteries. It's not always about haunted asylums or haunted houses. Or, wow, that house was in a movie. I want to go there. You don't always have to go there to experience the paranormal. Sometimes it will come knocking right on your door. You just got to be open to the signs, open to the signals, open to the little things that they do. To get your attention sometimes. Sometimes they'll knock a photograph. I heard a story today about, buddy, you'll never believe this. At this time on Saturday, the photo fell off the wall. And it was a very significant photo. And I think she thinks it was a very significant time. So things to look out for. Different feelings, different sensations you're going to get. You're not always going to be, I'm not always investigating the paranormal when something paranormal definitely happens to me. Just the other day, I was sitting with my mom in the living room, and she swore that a cat walked by, took maybe 5 or 6 steps and disappeared. This is not the first time she has seen. Thank you, Anita. R.I.P. Ken Lively. This is not the first time she has seen a ghost, especially in that area of the house. Right in that area before, she's seen different apparitions over the years. So I mean, just always be alert. You never know when they're going to come knocking on your door. It's not always when you're looking for them. Sometimes it's when they're looking for you. So just little hints. Tonight we have a really nice show. I'm told that the goat is scurrying in from the Cape. He's going to join us in just a bit. The goat is saying about 8:15 he'll come in from the fields. He's eating grass all day. He's going to a meeting, and then he's going to join us at 8:15. It'll be a good show. We have Amy Marino joining us tonight. Amy's she's the owner of the Sanctuary in Cape Cod, which is a lovely section of Massachusetts, if you're not familiar. Known for their beaches. They have a really good couple breweries out there. Different show, different guy. And we'll talk more about the metaphysical arts and holistic healing and all that stuff. We're going to get into all that in a little bit. As I'm expecting her around at the 8:30ish hour. Between now and when BAMS comes on, though, you get to look at my face. I mean, not a bad thing. Today marks. Actually, it was kind of like last week. Actually, it's kind of like last Wednesday. Marked the year anniversary of the Goat and the Ghost. So you see my face almost weekly. And if you're watching on Get Haunted, which I'm thrilled that you are, if you are, because great organization, great group of people that put faces like mine on your computer screens, on your cell phones. You're watching me right now, and it's because of Get Haunted. Check out all the your streams are awesome. I'd love to connect with you and support you. This is that's nice. That's sweet. Yeah. So come and check out all the stuff that I do. The Ghost and the Goat has been on again, off again, a sports / paranormal show. It has always been a paranormal show. Some weeks I've been able to bring in sports people like Bams. And we chatter about sports. There's a lot of good sports stuff going on right now. Baseball season's about to open up. The free agency of the NFL draft, where my Miami Dolphins did absolutely nothing, is really going on good. NBA basketball, the NCAA college, basketball tournament. That tournament they have, I think they call it March Madness. I think I've heard of that before. They're doing that right now. All sorts of good sports are coming up. So we might talk some sports in a little bit, but between now and the goat coming in from the fields, I'm going to throw at you some other things that I do. If you like my face, if you like the soothing sounds of my voice, tune into some of the other things I do. One of my other podcasts is Three Dudes Brews. So me and some other guys, let me see if I have a picture of this. Yeah. Me and some other guys, we do this show called Three Dudes Brews, right? Three Dudes Brews is pre-recorded once a month. We're pre-recording next month's episode at not Crooked Current. That was our first episode. Crafted Hope Brewing in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. Crafted Hope collabed with us about 6 months ago when they opened their brewery. They collabed. We made a beer together. It's called Three Dudes and a Brew. It was very it was nice. So we've supported them over the months, and now we're gonna do a show. We're gonna go down the brewery on Saturday. We're gonna chat shit with Kyle. We're gonna have the on-show competition, which I am currently holding in possession of the top cock. I hope to continue to hold the top cock long past Saturday. I don't want to give it up to the Greek. I really don't want to give it up to Ed, but it's whatever. So we'll see what happens. Three Dudes Brews hosts a charity event that I want to just talk about really quick before Bams comes in. It's called the Mark Ambrose Bingo. So if you know anything about beer, there's all these breweries in Rhode Island. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the guy in the background, his name's Mark Ambrose. I'll show you a picture. He's wearing a fucking Yankees hat. But these are all these breweries all around Rhode Island. And if you go there and you see Mark and you have a card, you take a selfie with Mark, because that's what Mark does. And you add it to you use that as your marker on your beer. So you guys have heard me, if you watched me at all in the last 2 months, you've heard me talking about this every single week. It's still going on. Ticket sales just closed. So we're waiting to claim a bingo winner. But basically, you're going to get your selfie with Mark. You're going to do your things, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go B, Proclamation, that's in Warwick. I, Crooked Current, that's in Pawtucket. That was our first show. N, Buttonwoods. G, right? Go through the whole. Yeah, everybody knows how to spell bingo. I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, and then when you have your straight bingo, or if you want to use the middle, we're using the middle card that we weren't doing the free space. I was like, no free space, no free beers. Now I'm giving out free beers. So the free beer, the free spot. I don't know if you can see that. This little like axe in the middle there. It's kind of a bad picture, buddy. But it's this new brewery called oh God, Tramcar. I'm not sure if I'm going to say it right. I don't want to butcher it. It's an Irish set. We went there Friday. It's very green. It's very delicious. So if you can they're in Bristol. They're at the old Six Pack. I don't want to butcher their name because I don't have it in front of me. I generally butcher names, so I'm not going to butcher their name because I think they make really great beer. And one of their brewers is Irish also. So we're doing that for the Ronald McDonald House. That's going to close up soon. Another event that we're doing really quick before I bring Bams on. So we're doing the first event. It's on April the 5th. It's coming up really soon. Tickets are on sale. Get your seats available for Brian Danzaro and Sarah Gagny of La Chat Noir. Sarah was on a few weeks ago, and she absolutely blew people away with live readings. Come and see Sarah in person. She is more than legit. She's the real deal. And Brian Danzero, I've known him for a number of years. He's a great guy. Worked in mental health for a number of years with this guy. And then I found out, like, wait, you're a medium? He's like, oh yeah, buddy, I do tarot crap. I'm like, you want to come on their show? He's like, yeah. So I got together with Brian and Sarah. They're both former employees of a now defunct business in Burrville. Good for them for getting out like everybody else did. But we're doing that event with them at the Varna Memorial Armory in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, to benefit the Varna Memorial Armory. We're also doing the event in May, the 24th. It's Saturday with Christina Marie. She is a psychic medium. You can find her on Facebook. She does. I posted recent her card of the day. She is absolutely phenomenal. She's come on this show a number of times and continues to blow people away. Varna Memorial Armory, they do stuff like this. They preserve historical artifacts from Rhode Island military history from the past, and they give it a home. They take items that were like torn apart. That's blood. That's from the first battle of the Civil War. Those gloves right there. They take stuff like this and they preserve it and they conserve it and they house it. And we want to do things to help them out. So I'm hosting these two events in April and May. Please run out and buy tickets. They're three talented, very super gifted mediums. Check them out, won't you? Okay, here we go. It's 8:15. Bam, right on time, Bams. Welcome back to the show from the bullpen, coming in to relieve the dead. Bams, welcome back, dude. Welcome back, baseball, dude. Oh, I can't hear you, dude. Oh, you got to unmute yourself here, dude. Up, here we go. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm trying to unmute Bams. I don't hear you. You don't have. You're muted. Can you hear me?
Here we go.
Oh,
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Okay.
All right.
New headphones?
I've had these for a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I just had to set it all up because we're like in the process of moving and stuff. It's a long story, dude.
Fuck moving, dude.
It's a whole thing. It's
a character builder.
It's been crazy.
It's a character builder. Speaking of crazy,
I have moved over 20. I've moved over 20 times in my life, dude. I'm over.
Oh God, I've only moved like 6 or 7, and those suck. I go and help other people out, and I'm like, yeah, better you than me, dude. I hate this shit. I hate every part of it.
It's awful.
The cleaning before, the cleaning after, the packing, the moving of the packed shit, the moving of the heavy shit, the moving of the fragile shit. It's never fun.
The moving isn't even the bother. It's the packing and unpacking that gets me every time.
Yep,
that's the
something always fucking gets broken, dude. No matter how much you always. I've had furniture from IKEA that this is gonna make it through the move. Yeah, no, we need new bureaus, dude. Yeah, it's never. I hate moving. Where are you moving to? Are you gonna stay out there on the Cape? Yeah. Scenic Cape Cod is nice all times of years. All times of the year. It's beautiful.
Mashpee. It's a little town.
Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with Mashpee. It's a lovely, lovely part of the Cape. I'm actually headed to the Cape on Saturday. I'm going out. My girlfriend Betty Jo has friends that live in West Yarmouthport. We're gonna go out there and
I'll be up there.
Might do some fishing. So it'll be a good time.
I'm house sitting I'm dog sitting for my sponsor, and I'll be out in Yarmouth, South Yarmouth. Yeah,
South Yarmouth. Lovely community. So what's going on, dude? What's going on? What do you want to start here, guy? We got some time before Amy joins us.
All right, we can talk about the Pats for a second. Right, I've never been more aggravated with the lack of signings in my life, dude.
They've had a few dude. Talk to a Dolphins fan about lack of signings. Tell me about it. Go ahead,
buddy. We don't have a single wide receiver on this fucking team, dude.
No, they didn't go after DK.
We got Matt Collins, which I actually like.
Who?
Dude, all this talk about going after DK and doing all this other stuff, and like DK went for a fucking cheeseburger and a load of laundry.
They went on after that cat from the kid from Tampa Bay. They went hard on him, and then he's like, I don't want to.
Yeah, but why would you go?
Or why not hard on?
Why would you come?
Cup? or Jesus Christ, I heard rumors.
Tax-free living in Florida, and then you're going to come here and get the shit tax out of you for an extra $5 million. It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it.
But you gotta expect with Vrabel.
They haven't.
You gotta expect with Vrabel for him to have that defensive route first. I would think, dude. I don't know.
I'm not mad about the defensive signings. I just wanted them to look alive on offense. You know what I mean? Like,
I think if that offense would have, I think if that defense would have kept them in games last year,
that big right tackle.
Yeah. Yep. Is it just me, or does Buddy look like Russell Crowe?
You need to protect. You need to help.
The gladiator.
Who the hell is that?
Anita Bush. That Russell Crowe.
What a name.
Right? Anita Bush too. Yeah, so dude,
I mean, they fixed the defense. The defense is stacked right now. So I think
they got that kid from that guy from the Eagles, the defensive tackle, from the Super Bowl last year there.
Mm-hmm. And they got the corner from Detroit.
Right.
They got the corner from Detroit. That'll help out.
And they got the fourth tackle too. They got the fourth pick in the first round of the NFL draft. They could pick a at
this point it's almost Travis Hunter.
Right, very decent cornerback right there at the number 4. You think that the first few teams are going to go quarterback?
I think he's So I think he's going to be. I think it's going to go that linebacker out of Penn State, and then 2 quarterbacks. I think it's going to be that linebacker out of Penn State. I forget his name.
Yep.
I'm drawing a blank on his name, and then obviously it's going to be Cam Ward, and then Shador, which I think Shador for the Giants. I can't wait because I fucking hate the Giants.
Really?
And,
yeah.
He's a bust.
I don't think he's.
Dude,
he's Deion Sanders' son, right?
He struggled in the Big Ten.
Right.
He had some flashy stats and some flashy throws, but I don't see it, dude. I don't see a top 5 pick, but like I'm not a scout. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but
here we go. Here comes the fucking peanut gallery right here. Jeff here, and thank you for always digging in and reminded me that the Dolphins are still Holf. Yes, thank you. Holf said that. Are still in a rebuilding decade. We're in a rebuilding generation at this point, dude. We took a little bit of
how bad is it?
Oh God! I mean, Tyreek's gonna stay, but he's
Here's the problem, dude. Is they hitch their wagon at Tua, and Tua could be very good, but he can't stay healthy.
No, I don't know, dude. Even when he is healthy, he throws way too many fucking interceptions, dude. He's not great. He's an average quarterback. He's a par quarterback, but he's not by any. No,
but they were in a position
number 13.
They kind of had to pay him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had them.
We had to
either do something with him or get rid of him and move on. They're not ready to. Tua. Oh, here we go. Tua is 1 concussion away from Stephen Hawking. Yes, Jeff. I think he is close. Well, to be honest, Bams. Hold on.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said.
Bams looks like Johnny Depp with face fluff. That's kind of fucking pushing it right there. Johnny Depp and Russell Crowe, the Ghost and the Goat. Welcome to a, like I said, Emmy award-winning show right here. 2 sexy bitches bringing you the paranormal and sports, but sports first.
So. I think the Patriots take Hunter. There's no way around it.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, I see them getting like 9 wins this year. They don't have a terrible wide. They're not great offense, but build that O line. Build that O line a bit.
They're gonna have the Patriots are gonna have one of the weakest schedules in the league, and with that defense, honestly, and I'm not like just saying this. Like you heard me say it last year, they'd be lucky to get 4 wins. They're looking at like 11 wins this year.
Oh, you're getting optimistic again now, huh?
I think they're going to beat the Bills once. You know what I mean? Like they'll surprise.
Really optimistic, dude. The Bills?
It's that time of year, buddy.
You feel it because it's before the draft and football's a ways away.
What have they done? They haven't done anything.
They've choked a lot. They've choked and they've won the AFC East. They've dominated the AFC East, which really isn't much of a domination, but they dominate the East. They beat Buffalo. No, they beat Baltimore a few times, right? And they beat KC once last year, but not when it mattered. It happens to the best of us, dude. But
And
I
that's
mean,
my
yeah, it
favorite.
happened to the Bills like so
That's
much.
my favorite thing about the Bills is they get their hopes up and then they fucking fail.
And their fans get so excited, dude.
I hate.
Oh,
They're
they
the
jump
worst.
through tables.
Their fans
They do.
second to
They do all sorts
they
of
do
stupid
dumb shit. They're,
Yeah.
act like you've been there. You know what I mean?
They almost. They haven't been there yet, dude. They've almost. Well, they have been there, but they haven't.
I don't know.
They couldn't make that final leap 4 times in a row. 4 times. 4 years in a row. A presidency spent trying to win the Super Bowl.
I hope they never win. I hope I go a lifetime without the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Well, you know who's not going to win this year? Well, maybe the Jets will win, but I was going to say the Jets, but they got rid of Aaron Rodgers. What do you think? Where's your... Where is Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to go to the Vikings? I've heard the Vikings this week, and I'm like, wow, that'd be like very Brett Favre-ish of him. What are your thoughts? Where's he going to land?
Pittsburgh on a 3-year deal.
Enigma is going to go to Pittsburgh. He said he has no interest in signing with Pittsburgh, though. You think?
I don't know if it's you or me. Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah, there's a little bit of...
Am I cutting in and out here?
It might be you. It might be me. I can run internet tests on my end. I was a little slow before I got going today. I'm not...
That might be...
Buddy versus the internet.
Looks like me.
Okay, well, that's all right, dude. We're known to skip anyway, so...
That's what it's saying. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I don't want that. Let me see if I can do this here. I'm going to try to put on my hotspot, but I don't want to lose you either.
Right, no, do what you got to do. Work on your stuff, and we'll chat. MLB.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on. We're switching.
Switching on over. I don't have you on screen, so if you dump out, I'm not going to see. Oh, there you are. You're still there. I still see Brad Pitt. Johnny Depp. I'm sorry, not Brad Pitt. Maybe Brad Pitt from like 7, where he's all sorts of fucking edgy because the guy cuts his fucking wife's head off. Oh, you froze, Bams. I think he's switching now. He's so when Bams comes back to us. Oh! I saw movement. I gotta have a movement. I was gonna take you off. Should I take you off screen? I'm gonna take you off screen. So when Bams comes back, we'll talk more about sports, about his abysmal Patriots. Might even more a bit. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Bams, are you back? Are you moving? Oh, I'm seeing movement. Can you talk to me, Bams? Hello? No, you're not moving at all now, dude. You're kind of like blurry. There's some blurry Bams. All right, I'm gonna. What's in the box? So yeah, we'll talk more about Bams' abysmal Patriots. Even though he's predicting 11 wins, I don't know if I see the Patriots winning 11 games with no wide. He came on talking about how they have no wide receivers. Oh, there he is. Are you with us again?
I'm with us, but I don't know.
He
connection's weird.
All right. It's all right, dude. You're coming through now. It's all right. The GOAT is here.
All right. So, yeah. By the way, the Patriots are winning 11 games this year.
11 games. You think they're going to win the East?
No.
I know. We know the Dolphins aren't going to do shit. We signed Zach Wilson as a like. Come on, why don't you just bring Skylar Thompson back on, guys? I don't know why they would do that, dude. It's just such a every chance they have to kick themselves in the balls, they seem to do it in Miami. I don't know if anyone really wants to win.
Zach Wilson's not a bad backup though to have. I don't think.
Maybe the warm weather will suit him better. I don't know.
Patriots play the Falcons.
Oh, you got a schedule?
Right? Yeah. The Patriots play the Falcons. They play the Bills twice, so they'll get one. They'll split. They play the Panthers. That's a win. They play the Browns. That's a win. They play the Dolphins. Probably a split. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe
they play the Giants. We're gonna.
we haven't lost to New England though in more than 5 years. Oh, actually we did once, but Tua wasn't starting. Tua is undefeated against your Patriots.
We'll see what
So
happens with this defense.
yeah,
We'll
right.
see what happens. So we got the Giants, right? That's 6 wins. The Jets, that's 8 wins because the Jets have nothing. The Raiders, that's 9 wins.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers, I mean, they'll probably lose to the Steelers, but then they play the Saints, that's 10 wins. And then the Tennessee Titans, that's 11. And then the Bucks, that's possible 12.
I don't know. I think you're pushing it with the Bucks. I think you're pushing it with the Raiders a little bit. Didn't the Raiders beef up a little? Don't the Raiders have Tom Brady now? Didn't they beef up a little bit? Didn't they have? No.
Fuck, is he gonna suit up? Is he gonna fucking play quarterback?
Number 12 for the Oakland Raiders? You never know, dude. That'd be weird. That'd be paranormal for sure.
It's Geno Smith.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
Celtics are the best team in the NBA. The Bruins
Oh my
suck.
God, dude! They've beaten Cleveland 2-3 times now at least, right? Even though they're still behind in the standings. Yeah. Celtics. They're firing on all cylinders. If they can just keep Porzingis on the rest mode until the playoff time and stash him a little bit and use the bench play. I don't know. They were playing phenomenal. They've been playing phenomenal. NBA, I'm trying.
Yeah, they're very, very good. And the
NBA.
Bruins, absolutely. So I think they're the number 2 seed in the East right now.
The Bruins? No.
Oh no! I'm talking about the Celtics.
Oh
the Bruins are 1 game. Bruins are 1 game out of the playoffs.
The Celtics are 49-19. They are 7.5 back on the Cavs. Which I don't understand how it's that huge fucking huge hole, but. Yeah, no, they swept them up they wrapped them up last year in the playoffs. I'm sure it'll be
that's what I'm saying. Everybody's like, oh, they got to beat the Cavs. I'm like, did they not beat them last year in the playoffs?
They beat them twice already. They lost to them once, and they beat them twice. So I think they can definitely do it. They have, I don't know. I think
not a team in the East that can hang with the Celtics when they're firing on all cylinders.
Right, not the Bucks. Aces.
And the Red Sox win the AL East this year.
Dude.
They do.
Dude, I'm not saying they're not. They've been looking pretty impressive. We have a pitching rotation. We have a very good one too. We have a really nice lineup, dude. The lineup is kind of
we'll have boots on the ground. I'll be at the opening day for the Red Sox this year.
A Phillies fan will be at the opening day. That's good, dude. No, that's good for you. That's awesome. Where are your seats? Bams. I think Bams froze again. I'm going to a Red Sox game in July while I'm waiting for Bams to unfreeze himself. It cost us one of my dudes. He won tickets in a lottery. I don't know what kind of lottery he's entering or winning for that matter, but he won tickets, and they're right down by the third base line. Right down there by the field. They're playing the Colorado Rockies, which is good news as a Red Sox fan because I think Colorado sucks. And, hopefully the Sox have no problem woofing right by them. We also have, being beer enthusiasts, we'll stop at the Flying Squirrel, which is right on the way between Bam's dropped off. Between the Fenway stop and the Fenway Park itself, right off the tee. Just cruise right on in there, guys. Go 2 blocks up the road to Fenway Park. We won't have to spend $27 on a beer. We can, go to the Flying Squirrel and probably get, a few for $12-13. It'd be a good time. Red Sox Fenway Park is such a classic stadium. It's such a great time, great event. Bams will join us when his hotspot comes back on, and Amy comes back on as well. While we're waiting for both of them, I'll talk. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk some baseball here. We got the top. So this is the Major League Baseball top. No, that's not what I want. Roman Anthony's number 2 as a prospect, but that's not what I wanted. I loaded up the wrong page. Oh, whoop! Bams! There he is. You got it?
I don't think I've ever been this annoyed with my internet connection.
Are you Han Solo'd? Are you unfrozen?
This is brutal.
Dude, I fucking hate the internet. I hear you, dude. It always shits the bed and you freeze. It's like, buddy, you're freezing. Why aren't you coming through? Oh God.
Dude, it's so bad. Yeah, I'll be at
Oh, hello, hello.
the Red Sox. So, oh, here we go.
That'd be sweet, dude.
I mean,
I would be very. Red Sox got. Oh, are you're frozen again, Bams? Yeah, he's frozen again. Usually it's me. Bams hasn't been on in a while, so I've had time to like figure out the whole internet thing. Knock on wood, please, somebody, because this will be when mine freezes. Oh, nope, movement. Are you alive? Are you with us? Oh, there he is. It
I'm
happens.
alive.
It happens to the best of us. I hate, like I said, I hate the internet.
So
But
frustrating right now.
it is.
So frustrating.
Roman Anthony, he's in one of our top prospects. I saw him play last year in Worcester. He can hit the ball, dude.
Dude, who's that kid that's playing center field for them right now in spring training?
Oh God.
He's got a fucking cannon, dude.
Yeah, the Spanish kid.
Yep.
I have his jersey. I can't remember his name. Raphael. Oh, Christmas. Hold on a second. Oh, Rafaela.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's fucking filthy.
Satella Rafaela. He was, dude. They hooked that kid up when he was like 12 years old in the Little League World Series, and they signed him right then, and they put him into teams, and then they put him into like single A, double A, triple A, and then I saw him play. I saw him and Devers play at Pawtucket, and then bam, he was like in the majors the next year. That's the only thing that our what was that Cham Bailey, our last GM. That's the only thing he really did.
Dombrowski?
No, not Dombrowski. No, Dombrowski was decent. Cham,
I know who you're talking.
He like erased all the good that Dombrowski did, and that's why we suck ass now, because he got rid of all our like really good starters. He got rid of like Mookie Betts.
I think they win the East though. I do.
Yeah, if they can hang tough, and the Yankees lost Garrett Cole, which is and the other guy had the Tommy John for the Yankees. Or maybe was it Garrett Cole that got Tommy John, and the top prospect is out till July. So I was talking to a Yankees fan last weekend, and he was like sobbing tears of sorrow, and I was sobbing tears of joy.
Couldn't happen to a better franchise.
Right, exactly. I always like to see the Yankees and their fan base fall on their face.
Now, if only the Dodgers get like a series of injuries.
That'd be nice to see. They have like all that and a bag of chips out there in LA, though.
God, they're signing everybody for $1. You know what I mean? And then paying them in 20 years. Like, how that shouldn't even be legal.
Right. They're going to be owing people for the next like 2 generations.
The next owners are going to be taking on this money, not them.
No, we won't pay you now, but we'll pay you a shit ton in like 20 years when you need the money, when you don't play baseball anymore, which is kind of smart, I guess. If I was already a multimillionaire.
If you're a baseball player, that's genius.
That's money in the bank, dude. That's
the Red Sox are still paying Manny Ramirez.
Wow. He's been going for a while.
It's not as good as the Bobby Bonilla contract from the Mets, but
he's still getting Bobby Bonilla is still getting contract money too. There was somebody else,
dude. When Bryce Harper's contract is done with the Phillies, right? That's in 8 years, 9 years, 9 years, I think.
If he's still playing ball,
9 years, his contract will be done because it's 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Bonilla still has 2 more years on his contract.
What? Bobby Bonilla hasn't played since like the 1980s, dude. 1990s, right? In all fairness, but
the 90s.
Still, dude, he hasn't played in. I work with people who are younger than that. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy to think how. That's a hell of an investment. I mean, good for the ball players because they're making money.
That's the best agent of all time,
right?
Every year that guy gets a contract payment from that contract alone that he can pay his bills.
That's unbelievable amounts of money.
It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy.
What's going on with the Phillies right now? Any good? What do you think? What do you think they're going to do? You think they will get by Juan Soto and the New York Mets?
I don't think the Mets are good.
No.
I never
so
think
all right,
the
so
Mets are good, though.
the Mets aren't good, okay? The Mets kicked the
I think-
shit out of your Phillies team in the playoffs last year. So what are you trying to say?
Dude, we went into the Phillies. We went into the playoffs fucking ice cold. You know what I mean? And they didn't have any pitching. This year, hopefully the two prospects are coming up. And I mean, I've been waiting for Andrew Painter forever. You know what I mean? Like, I've been waiting for this kid to like be healthy and to pitch. And they have another kid too. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But they have two, and there's one other kid that they had pitch, and he hit like 100 miles an hour the other day when he was starting. It was like, if these guys can stay healthy with that line, with that Phillies lineup, they'll run these. They'll run these, but because that lineup is that lineup can go toe to toe with any lineup in baseball, for my money.
Oh, yeah, who do you have, guys? You guys have somebody in the top 25. I want to say I was reading something today that the Phillies got that's like stupid. Oh, Zach Wheeler. He's a pitcher.
Dude, he's fucking filthy.
Yeah,
he was one of the best signings they've ever made. So we still got him. We still got Nola. They got the two young kids. They got dude, I'm drawing a blank. But it looks like they might have fixed the bullpen too. And then if you look at the lineup, Bryce at first, Bryson Stott at second, Trey Turner at short. You know what I mean? Like Alec Boehm at third.
Yeah.
I mean, JT Remoto's still a dog. You know
yeah, dude. He's been playing forever too, right?
Yeah. Kyle Schwarber is the best leadoff in baseball somehow, dude.
Such a coot in the ass for the Red Sox to get rid of him.
Castellanos, dude. I mean, they're stacked. There's no reason that lineup can hit. You know what I mean? They can play with anybody, but it's just a matter if they can pitch.
Yeah. Is that what failed you guys last year? Was it the pitching? Was it the bullpen?
Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. Nobody was ready to play. Dude, in the playoffs, dude, it's like the lineup just went cold. And you can't do that when you don't have pitching. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to get in a slugfest with anybody, I'll take the Phillies. But, like, if you're not going to hit.
They won all year last year. Every parlay that I got into baseball, I always picked the Phillies. And the Phillies always won until we hit the playoffs. And then they let me down.
They let you down. They broke my fucking heart. They lost to the goddamn Mets. Dude,
to the Mets of all
anybody but the Mets. You know what I mean? Like, anybody, dude.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Wait. Ready for this one, hey? Hey, Hot Buns. Oh, Jesus. Anita Bush.
What a hilarious name, too.
Great names. Kind of like I.P. Freely or Jack Candy. Anyway, speaking of fun names, dude, and people have good names. Tonight's guest, she's in the green room right now. I'm looking down at her. She shares a name with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
One of the best human beings I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, somebody that I work with personally, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on this spiritual journey and stuff like that. And Amy has helped me out so fucking much. And the place that she has in Cape Cod is called the Sanctuary. And it's
out there in Brewster, right? Brewster?
Yeah, buddy. The second you pull into the parking lot, you can feel a difference in energy. You walk into that place and it's
Soul Spa is what you. It's like, Soul Spa. I think that's kind of cool. She owns this place, the Sanctuary in Brewster. She's a psychic medium. She does tarot card readings. She works with energy healing. Bams will tell you all about her, but we don't need the Bams to give it anymore. Please welcome to tonight's show, Amy Marino. Welcome.
Hello, boys. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Amy.
Pretty good. Hey, Amy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely, Amy. So, I kind of know what you do. Bams pretty much knows what you do. What is it that you do? Could you just tell us really quick?
Well, what do I do? How to sort of
you're a medium. You're a medium.
Yeah. So
ultimately.
I started out back in the day doing Reiki and tarot. That was kind of the foundation. And so
were you a medium at that point?
Not really that I knew going into it. No, that actually was terrifying to me.
You just one day you decided you wanted to do Reiki.
No, one day it spontaneously happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I was literally driving to a reading to do a tarot for a gentleman.
Mhm.
And on the way there, his deceased wife hopped into the passenger side of the vehicle with me. And on the way there, literally told me everything.
That's
how
better.
she had passed of cancer, all of the details about her personality, the marriage. So by the time I got there, I already kind of knew everything, and it wasn't really, we hadn't even pulled tarot cards yet. So
Right. Did you even know that you would be like reading for her husband? Were you going specifically for him, or was it like a gallery?
yeah, it was an appointment. I had an
Appointment.
appointment with this gentleman.
Yeah.
So
I've
so it was pre-planned,
in
but
the
I
ye-
just thought we were doing a tarot reading.
Yep. In my years of working with mediums as an investigator, they said to me, I'm like, hey, I got this case I want you to come with me on. And so like, all right, I'm like next Saturday around like 2. And they're like, yeah, okay. And I don't send them the address until like an hour before because I don't want them to know anything. We'll get there and they're like, I've been seeing this, I've been seeing that. And I was like, oh, okay. And like in my head, I'm like, holy shit. And then we'll get there and they'll tell me stuff. Like they knew exactly where we were going the whole time and they like researched in detail, but there was no time to do any of that. They're like, well, this person was talking. Do you feel like that happens a lot? That the spirit will come through to you like beforehand?
Yeah, there's a certain thing that happens with intention for sure. And that comes into play a lot for sure. I think there is certain things that will come to people, and everybody is psychic a little bit. Everybody's going to receive that information differently though. And it comes in, it's super subtle for most people. So for most of us, we're receiving information all the time from our environment, the universe, the planet, our guides, our higher self, our intuition, however you want to sort of categorize that. But for the most part, it's just kind of just going over everybody's heads. We're not paying attention. If we do pay attention, we're like, oh, that was just a dream. That was just my imagination. That was a coincidence. We're super quick to, to write it off. And I feel like our team, if you want to sort of say this, though, like face palm up there, like, oh, they almost had it. Back to the drawing board, boys. I laugh when I think sometimes about how much like effort they're trying to, put through to sort of.
Yeah, no, it's I said at the beginning of the show, you don't like. I'm a paranormal investigator, but I've had more experiences not investigating the paranormal. Like when I'm off doing other things, where I'm just like living life.
Yeah, something just happens.
Like, and something just happens. It's they're looking for you more often than you're looking for them. I think is my.
Well, the more open you are, the more attractive you are. I guess the way I would sort of quantify it is that spirits are energy and light, right? We're down here in these heavy physical bodies.
Yep.
So our vibrational, optic is limited by this physical body. So in mediumship, I was kind of say like the medium has to get their vibration up super high or get themselves to that point where they're super open, and the spirit actually sort of lowers their vibration, and hopefully there's a connection in the middle. So the higher you can get your spiritual antenna, that's your energetic vibration. You're putting off an energy right now based on your thoughts, your feelings, your challenges, your attitude, your experiences, everything that's happened to you, your knowledge, your belief systems. Right? And those limit actually everything that we're sort of receiving and able to perceive. So the more we let go of those things, the more
open we become.
Sort of the flow of universe, the sensitivity of energies, what's happening around us energetically, not just perceptionally or informationally. But that is usually the thing that will lead you, the right direction. That true north, I always say, like you got to go with your gut, Now,
for those of us who are more open, or those of us like yourself who are like super open, do you think that we are more visible on the other side? Like, you think like they see us a little bit more clear if we're have an ability? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going with that. Is that I would say anyone who is naturally, I would say some people, I would say everyone has those abilities in general. Think about the fact that most of us only using 8 to 9% of our brain,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we
right.
don't really know what that other like 91, 92% of our brain can do. So that's why I laugh really when people say, oh, there's no such thing as psychic ability. Well, you don't know what the other 92% of your brain can do. I really think I'm just accessing different areas of my brain. I work them out daily. And so they've gotten, fairly strong. And, I'm used to running around those psychic obstacle courses, if you want to think of it that way.
So what
Now,
do you
ask me
do to
do
work
like
out?
a
What do you do to
spreadsheet or
work out this?
something like that? Like numbers in my brain just goes gridlock.
Yeah. What are your exercises to make yourself more open to this stuff? What do you?
Well, I mean, lots of things that I've done over the years. For sure, I think for like your average person, just trying to be more mindful. One of my clients has just set like a mindfulness on his Apple Watch to go off like I think it's twice an hour, like 15 minutes after and 15 minutes before.
Yep.
And so it just gives a little ding. And then he just takes like literally like 30 seconds or 60 seconds to just like breathe, be mindful, be in the moment, So there's things like that. I have very specific methods or pretty like easy steps of how I can help people, like your average person that comes in and is like, I'm the most like unintuitive person imaginable. That's one of my clients, and he's like, fully doing mediumship and everything now, just like a few months. So we all have that ability. It's really, do we choose to sort of tap into that? And the higher you get your vibration, the more open you are. I guess I would say anyone who's awake, who's a sensitive, an empath, a natural psychic, a natural medium. Certainly some people do come in with those things fully already turned on, I would say. Those switches are sort of on. Other people, have to work out a little more, set a little more intention, do some things. But I would say those people are, that light is shining a little bit brighter, and so they're more on the radar. Spirit is those of us that are, if you want to say like spiritually awakening, we're more visible on the radar. So especially I would say anyone who's like a natural medium or a huge empath, who most empaths end up being natural mediums anyways, that they are sort of I guess I'd almost say like moths to a flame. And so the empaths have encountered some of the craziest things things that I never even imagined were real. If my friend Jessica, one of my dear and bestest friends, huge empath and even more sensitive than I am, and if there was like a freaky thing, like it would go for her. 10 times out of 10, like she'd be in my room and we'd be doing cleanup,
Nice. What are your thoughts on this, dude? You got something to say?
Yeah, there's a couple things. First of all, because I think it's like important. Dude, you have no idea. But there's
right. I have no idea.
Amy, Amy, you were talking about like the teams and stuff like that. Do you want to explain to people what you mean by that? Because like when I started doing all this work and all the spiritual work, I had no clue. First of all, I had no clue what she was talking about. And second of all, I didn't believe her. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That just, buddy, when we started this, I had no belief in any of this.
It's okay. You don't. It's all about experience. So go on, Amy.
Right.
He was like, I don't want the Reiki, just play the bowls.
That's it. So do you want to explain to people what you mean by like a spiritual team around them and stuff like that? Because like I find this is like extremely helpful, especially with setting intentions for meditation.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's been like a game changer for my life. So
as somebody who professionally delves around in the spirit world, I'm going to sort of give you my take from my experience and what I've learned and been it's been communicated to me from my what I would call team. So I believe that every single person has what I would say would consist of a team of guides, helpers. I would say that team, first of all, is going to consist of at least 2 guardian angels. One is sort of more of the protector, keep you out of all the trouble you're not supposed to get into. The other one is more of the comforter when we are grieving, when we're going through the really hard, really low times. In addition to our angels, we have, and there may be more, we have what I would say would be like a spirit guide team. And think of these as it was kind of explained to me by spirit, like when you go into college, right? And in college, you have professors and they have an area of specialty that they've studied in, right? And gotten certifications and whatnot to teach in that certain area. So you have your English professor, right? You've got somebody else that's doing physics, right? So think of it that way. You have a whole team of college professor advisors at your fingertips, working in your etheric background for your highest and best. They each have kind of a different area of specialty. So I would say this is kind of a very loose and very general, because when we start to get down to each person, there's a lot of different things that come into play, different beings that might make up their team. So I'm going to kind of talk generally for most people. I'd say there's at least 5. You have like your joy guy that's kind of in charge of your joy, happiness, your emotional well-being. You have your what would be described as like a protector guide, so similar to your angel, working in that area. You have and that could be like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual protection, right? Not just physical. And then you've got what would be described as maybe more of like a doctor teacher guide. They're sort of the master in like philosophy and spiritual knowledge and teaching and beliefs. And generally, I would say often that's the guide that will sort of come forward first or make themselves known first or want to initiate contact first, because they are helping you on that spiritual path of awareness and awakening. You have a doctor physician guide that's more in charge of like your health. So this could be like physical, mental health, how you eat, diet, how you think about exercise, taking care of yourself, those sorts of things. I would say there's a master guide that's sort of the, in college, then you have like the professor that's been teaching for so long, they no longer teach. They sort of oversee department, and they write and publish papers, and they'll do advisory meetings with the students. So that's more of that master guide. Is they're not the one that's sort of in your ear all day long, but they're maybe a little more of a higher level of knowledge and ability, and the whole team is sort of working for your highest and best together as a unit. So there would be different beings that make up that team. You can open up and communicate with just one, or you can kind of just say the information is coming from sometimes I'm very aware that it's a specific like Archangel Michael and I is sort of a main guide for me. So we chat a lot. He tells me a lot of interesting things, and then I hear them or find them or read them other places later on, interestingly. Or then sometimes I'm more aware that it's sort of like if everyone was sitting at a round table having a meeting, I kind of threw up a question. They all sort of, had a meeting of the minds, and then a sort of consensus answer kind of comes down to me from spirit that I would say is more of a collective, answer from the team or from spirit, I would say.
Now, something that we've talked about before, when you're trying to communicate with like whatever spirit it is, and you told me that they have to answer. The spirit world has to answer if you ask them a direct question, right?
Yeah, I was told there's an interesting rule in the spirit world. When you ask spirit a question, spirit must answer. So I would say, all communication with spirit is telepathic for the most part. It's happening in your head, which is sort of the, the mind trick right there.
Right.
Is that it's happening in your head. But for the most part, that's how the information is going to come in. And then, if we don't receive it, there's a breakdown in communication, if you will. It will come in later when we're not trying so hard. And then lastly, if we still don't get the answer, they'll send it usually in the means of some sort of a physical sign.
Yes.
I've
I've
of course
had some
that's like the
experience.
last resort. If that shows up, that means like they've already been hammering you with the answer, and you were like, la, 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 la.
Had some spiritual experiences myself where I've talked to them in my head. Today in particular, I was in somebody's home, and I had a ringing in my ear, and I get this like weird feeling that I get sometimes. This like tingling sensation. And I turn around and I noticed that in this room, in this room that was off the room that we were standing in, there was a set of chimes. So it was hanging like wind chimes. It was they were maybe about this big. They were hanging off of like a chair or a lamp or something like that. They're moving, right? And I'm looking at the airflow. There's no airflow in the room. There's no vents in the room. There's like that old-fashioned radiator. There's no fans on. There's no windows up. And I'm like, why is this thing moving right now? I'm like, Spirit, if that's you, make it stop. Would you know? It was moving. It was like this for 1 minute, and then was that spiritual? I don't know, but I mean, it's happened in other occasions where I've spoken to them in my mind and gotten a response like that. Is that primary? Is that how they hear us?
Well, that's how they communicate.
Yep.
They don't have like physical mouths and vocal boxes. So
all right. So now let me
so
ask you
this
that.
is more of a very physical instrument. So
all right. So in that sense, they don't have voices. They don't have throat boxes, right? There have been many times where I have been in a haunted location or wherever recording. It'd be me and another chap, so to say, and then I get a woman's voice, clear as day, answering the question. How
I've
is
experienced those types of things myself.
It's called an EVP. So I mean, what's that? How do they muster a sound like that? How can they speak words?
Yeah, that is a really super interesting question. I haven't necessarily really asked about.
I mean, I've heard it with my own ears.
That's an interesting question, but for
I've
sure,
heard it with my own ears. I've heard it in my mind's eye. But go ahead.
They can for sure control and manipulate electronic equipment. So I would say that's the main way is that they're able to like replicate. Also, I mean, obviously, spirit, you've been in situations or had experiences or heard about spirits moving things.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's not a typical, I would say it takes a lot of energy because here's the thing, physical people, all of our power mainly is in the physical realm, right? Yep. So we don't have as much, power and prowess in the spirit realm because we're in physical bodies. Same thing, vice versa. All of mainly, spirits, power and abilities in the spirit realm. They don't have as much in the physical realm. Right. So, which is why it can be appealing sometimes for certain spirits too. As we talked last time, I was on about like spirit attachments and things like that. So they can sort of continue to experience.
Touch you. I've gotten touched. I'm getting like hair pulled.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention a couple of the things that you're experiencing. So you mentioned the ringing in the ears. That is part of clairaudience, which is your clear hearing is what that means. Your inner hearing.
I've had the ringing. I've had the ringing and the popping in my ears.
Yeah. So I was going to say it's accompanied by something. So for me, I'll first experience it. Think of like an orb of energy sort of flew up to your ear, right to the side of your head. And it will only be in one side or the other. It's never both at the same time. Right. So once that happens, that's when the pressure inside of your ear tunnel changes. And it's like you're going up in an airplane or up a mountain. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's blocked up in there. And then all of a sudden that's when you get, it almost sounds like a mosquito or like you're near power lines, like a high pitch, like.
Yep.
And literally I'm always like, you guys know I don't understand tone. You know this. So I just kind of like acknowledge it, but I'm always like, what are they? So that is a frustrating thing. But what that is they're actually, you're sensitive enough that you're actually hearing the vibration of spirit. That's what that is. Sometimes it's also a download coming in. Sometimes they're making their presence known. One time, hilariously enough, this only happened once. I was doing mediumship reading and somebody's spirit person like crash landed in the side of my head. So we were just talking like this and the energy hit the side of my head with such force that I literally like my head just went like
oh wow.
Excuse me. That was rude.
Quick question from our chat room from Wade asks, nope, that's Anita Bush. I'm sorry. Wade asks, Amy, not Anita Bush. Wade Kirby asks, Amy, do you ever get a quote, statement, or foreshadowing of something that will happen exactly as you see it? Is that a form of precognition? How do you know it before it happens? Good question, Wade.
This is a tricky question. I think that can come in a lot of different ways for people. It literally just happened on my way here. So I was driving down Route 6A and I'm just going along in my new, Jeep Grand Cherokee. And all of a sudden, I was like, in my mind, I just flashed to like, there could be a cop somewhere around here. Like, I should slow down. And then I literally went to sort of dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
And like literally 30 seconds later, there's the cop. I'm like, how do I not fully like, I did slow down a little bit, but I, could have probably slowed down a little touch more. And it was fine. Like I made it. I was like, angels, shield me. Invisibility shield activate.
All right. I have a question. So
also,
you
I used to dream. That was really how things kind of kicked off for me.
Right.
As I started having dreams in like my early 20s, and then literally what I would dream about would happen the next day. But here's the tricky part. Sometimes it was literal, sometimes it was figurative, and sometimes it was a combination. So, I mean, to try and like predictively figure that out in any sort of helpful way is sort of impossible. But then you recognize it as it's happening. Sometimes several weeks for me, but I find what I call my window is usually like 24 to 36 hours if I have one of those types of dreams. And I would say those types of dreams, I recognize them. They feel different. They're not the sort of, when I would say like you wake up and then within like a nanosecond, whatever you're dreaming about sort of floats away and you can't remember. That is not a precognitive dream. The precognitive stuff happens when you wake up and you literally vividly remember everything that just happened. It was super real. You could have swore that they were there. It's very palpable. Absolutely. And you remember, and it might often be like in color or, but you remember very vivid details and it sticks with you like long after. You will still remember that dream and all of those types of things.
I have definitely had those types of dreams about people who have.
So those are the ones really pay attention
smell. To. You can smell them. You wake up smelling them. Have you ever where you like like your old meme or something and you haven't smelled her in like 20 years?
I think that's the clairalience when you can smell. The other thing you mentioned was clairsentience when you kind of said you were feeling energy down your back or feeling like touches.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot.
So you're clairsentient.
And it's always
it's subtle, but like if you really tune into your body and pay attention.
It starts subtle, and then if I try to ignore it, it gets heavy.
Well, I guess it depends on who it is.
And then it will be like, I'm not at all an anxious person. There's not an anxious bone in my body. I've been working in mental health for over 20 years. Nothing really phases me at this point. I'll get like super anxious. Like I'll get those feelings, and I'll get super anxious. And then I just got getting like really uncomfortable. It's just
and that's usually a lower vibrational spirit, and that's what I would call your spiritual discernment. Right? Is that when it's like for example, like your guide or one of your angels or what I would call like an ascended master or, somebody kind of loving your Grammy, you're not going to, your Gammy Ray comes in, you're not going to be feeling anxiety, right?
No.
You're going to be feeling like you're wrapped in a blanket of love and you're going to be feeling like that presence you did when your Gammy was there. And so those other anxiety feelings, to me, that is reflective of like a lower vibrational spirit came around you for sure. You also might feel nauseous.
Yeah, I've gotten that before. I got that today. In fact, I felt a little bit of nausea, and then the chime started moving. I just honestly, I may be positive, maybe negative. I attribute it to like, my body picking up on I don't call myself anything special. It's just the way my body picks up on the atmosphere.
Yeah. And here's a really cool way that I would describe that to like a person who would have trouble fathoming what we're talking about. You know, that expression, you walk into a room, there's been like an argument going on.
Yes.
Like, you could cut the tension here with a knife. Yes. I would say almost every person on the planet can identify with that in some sort of way. Like you walk into a room and it just feels awkward.
You can feel the emotions. Absolutely.
It's heavy.
Absolutely.
Okay. So every person on the planet can understand that. So now that's exactly what we're talking about, being able to feel energy. And then the more sensitive you are, the more you're paying attention to it, the more tuned on in you are, the higher your vibration, the more open you are, the more you're going to be feeling that.
Wade says that if it's a negative or demonic, you'll know enough. You'll know soon enough. Have you ever had any?
I'm not sticking around to find out. Thank you.
Have you ever had any of those experiences, Amy?
What's that?
Have you ever had any of those experiences?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've unfortunately had to clear some of those things off of some people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that something that? All right, so me be the investigator. That's the skeptic in my head saying, "Wait a minute, buddy, is this now?" People say, if you watch YouTube, there's a demon like every other day in America.
Yeah.
Is there that much demonic activity, or are these some of these demons, things that are being labeled as demons? Is it really just an asshole ghost? Because
It
people
could
can be
be,
assholes.
for sure.
Right.
I
So
would put it like this: just like in the real world, you have
Mhm.
nice little grannies, and
Right.
you have people that would kick you in the gut when you're down in a dark alley and take your
Totally.
wallet. So it's exactly the same in the spirit world.
Yeah.
And so this is where you really have to be, if you're open, if you're sensitive, if you're intentionally looking to, connect in and start to do mediumship or investigate and, see
Yep.
what's out there, you start to learn real quick.
Mhm.
In the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm working with angels, it's all like rainbows and unicorns. And I got a smackdown in hard reality real quick. And the second, it was a psychic attack. And then like the second I kind of figured it out, and my guides clicked back in.
Mhm.
The first that words out of their mouth, yeah, you agreed to that for learning purposes.
Right.
Like, screw you guys, that
It's
sucked.
good to know, I guess. But yeah, no, I had
So
one experience with that. I'm like, I'm just a
protecting,
ghost guy. I don't want to deal with any of that shit.
clearing your energy. I always just say, like, here's another way to look at it. Like, you could be the nicest person in the room. Doesn't mean I want to take you home with me.
True.
Right? Like, I just want all this at the end of the day. I got nothing. I don't need anybody else's. Thank you.
So you mentioned earlier angels and Saint Michael. What do you tell somebody who's an atheist or who's not a Christian? How do you spin that? How do you spin spiritualism to an atheist?
Okay, so atheist who just doesn't believe in God.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah, and I think like everybody has somehow their, quantify with their belief system, what seems valid to them or not valid to them. And I'm not interested in changing anyone's beliefs. I think you don't need to, if you're awakened, you don't need to go and shake everyone else awake. You just need to be the brightest shining lighthouse you can be. As the spiritual light goes up in the room, everyone gently awakens in their own time, their own pace. Some are late sleepers. I respect that.
That's true. Ooh, Bams, what's going on with you? What do you? How you process this and all this stuff?
That was a very long syllable word for something.
He used
that
a lot of
S's. Yeah, he did, dude. No, the way Amy just broke that down too, like if you're awakened, you don't have to wake everybody else up, right? Like the people that don't want to believe are gonna just shoot everything down, and they're gonna be negative about it, and they're gonna say that's not how it is. That's Amy. What do you say to the people the more dogma religion people that don't believe that, like they believe like everything that this kind of work, right? So like how I grew up, right? It's very dogma kind of esque, and this is kind of like it's like an alternate lifestyle compared to what I grew up with, and like
sure, me too.
What I'm doing now is like very like taboo to them. You know what I mean? Like, and trying to explain to them it's impossible, and I don't even try. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like I can't explain to you that I'm not summoning demons. Like I'm not. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing like spiritual work. Like, what do you say to people that like try to go at it like that? That like these are just demons.
Yeah. Well, I think back to just kind of the comment a minute ago about just like changing people's beliefs. I don't think we need to do that. And probably if somebody completely is against the kind of thing that I do, then they're probably not coming in to see me and sit in front of me. If they are, I have to assume they have some sort of openness or curiosity or what have you, and I always will just say, like, the proof is in the pudding. So you don't have to believe in it, but give it a try and like see what.
Wait till you have an experience.
What happens, and then
that's the best way to
make a decision.
Once you have an experience, like you can't turn away from it and everything like that. Like the biggest thing that I've been working on with Amy is like setting intentions and like getting to know like, you know, my spiritual guides, and like setting intentions has been like such a game changer for me, and like knowing who I'm talking to and like asking questions and then meditating on that, because like that's how they come with answers to me. Is that like a lot of what you get, Amy? Like, because like when we do work, you know what I mean? Like I'll set an intention, I'll ask questions, and sometimes like I get visions when I like meditate, like, and I get into like this first of all, Amy's sound bowl meditation is unbelievable. Like, and just the sound bath and like everything else that goes along with it, like the Reiki and stuff. I've had some great experiences. But the spirits come to you on like my behalf and like send messages through you. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of things happening. So first of all, you know, as far as like even just the sound bowls, like I'm using multi-layered tools. So I'm layering you up with like a crystal grid. You're holding handheld crystals. I've got your third eye is loaded with crystals. Those are like activated to a higher frequency by the bowls. And then we throw in the energy work, you know, with the Reiki and some clearing, and you know, all kinds of magical stuff is happening, moving, shifting, you know, along with your intention is super important. So
do you think that meditation's like a big tool for people to keep practicing this kind of muscle?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, taking time every day to tune in, and, you know, for some people it's going to be yoga. For some, here's the other thing, like meditating. For a long time, I have a very busy mind. So throw some ADHD in there, and meditating becomes super hard. Not that I really abhor labels, but I do recognize that those things are a challenge for me personally. So to like sit like, I'm going to sit in silence and have a blank paper mind, you know, for 30. I'm sitting there and I'm like 2 minutes in, all I can hear is the dog breathing, you know, and then it's like, all right, I move the dog out of, you know, then it's like, okay, no, all I can hear is 5, you know, blocks down. There's like a car alarm going off. And it's like, oh, what's going to be for dinner? Oh, you forgot to pay that bill. Oh, you know, and then the avalanche of things comes flooding into me. And I'm like, this is pointless. So for me personally, I find that kind of meditation very challenging. And I think often when people think of meditating, that's what they think. And I think because we are, you know, the screen time, the immediate gratification, we're in active, very, you know, busy lives. We've shut down our sensitivities and our intuition. So I think for a lot of people, that type of meditation might be scary or challenging even. So, you know, for me, I think there's a lot of other ways you can get into that state. Doing any kind of repetitive, active physical activity is one way. That could include exercising. Right. A lot of people who exercise would say when they're running, when they're on the treadmill, when they're whatever, biking, box, it doesn't matter. Right. You get into this certain, like, you're on autopilot. Right.
Yes.
And you kind of often, like, when you're in the shower, right? I do some of my best thinking in the shower. When you are driving, we actually go into light trance when we're driving. It has to do with the movement of the lines and the trees and the monotony of it. So that's a great time where you can kind of be like, really open and maybe kind of in a question answer session with your, you know, highest divine.
So just pretty much anything that takes you out of like thinking,
vacuuming, doing the dishes.
So anything that'll put you into that present moment where you're not like
could be
so distracted.
Music, you know,
Yeah.
So, and I think it's going to be different for everybody. There's no cookie cutter because we're all energetically comprised of different, you know, makeup, which is why one person's going to receive psychic information one way. Another person is going to be receiving it another way. So like it works a little differently.
Like you had said, you'll hear things and you'll do all that stuff, right? Like sometimes I'll get like these weird visions and I'll have to like run it. Honestly, I run it by Amy and like, hey, what does this mean? You know what I mean? What are we doing?
And I'm like, I don't know, dude. You are a freak.
He's a freak. I'll attest to that.
No, I'm joking. No, usually we can unravel it. Usually I can tune in to what you're saying. And I usually share with you first, like what I kind of received when I was tinkering around in there.
Do you find that they send like vague messages or vague symbols, or like sometimes it's hard to decipher what they're talking about at first?
For me, it's usually very specific.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, super specific.
I feel like
Here's the thing, like I don't play. I'm not here to like waste my time and sit around with vague general information. Like,
yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
like my guides know, like if we're going in deep, we're going into like some soul level stuff, hopefully, and I'm going to be looking for very specific information.
Yep.
Here's the other thing: when you're like, what's the most important thing I need to know? That's a BS question.
That's a really
you know, like. To me, I always, when Brandon and I work together, I'm always like, let's ask some specific questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd rather ask 20 specific questions than one vague question.
Mm-hmm.
I really think of it like a business meeting, to be honest, or a board meeting, Knights of the Round Table. Like, I'm calling to my team. They're always working in my etheric background, but the minute I sort of do that invocation, call them in to the meeting, everybody comes and gathers around the table. And then I raise my vibration with some gratitude for a few minutes. And then the next thing is I'm sort of laying down a specific question. I have a topic in mind that I'm bringing to the table that I need advice, input, guidance, information, different, viewpoints and perspectives on. And so I'll ask my question, usually just in my mind. Hopefully I get an answer back right then. It's the first thing that's going to come in. And then that usually leads me to my next question based on
So that's one of my favorite things that you've ever said. It's always like the first thing that pops up, because the rest of it's going to be like your ego driven mind. And like,
I would always say the first thing is
Right.
the one. Okay. That's the voice. About 5 to 7 seconds after that, your ego voice kicks in. That's that little doubting Thomas on your shoulder going, that's not right. That's not true. Don't tell anybody. They're going to laugh at you. You just made that up. That was your imagination.
Yep.
Right.
And so I have like a soundboard that I pull up, and I have a very specific dial that's assigned for, that ego voice. And I just turn it all the way down to mute. And I tune back into the first thing that was coming in.
Buddy, there was an experience I had with Amy. Not this last. I mean, this last time was unbelievable too. But like the time before,
that was super profound.
Buddy, it's like doing this type of work has legit like opened up my just everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's changed like my outlook on pretty much just how I perceive like any events of life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, buddy, like when you first started doing that work, like the more you do it, the more you see, the more you feel. Like
the more I started doing like energy work with like martial arts, and then Reiki a few times. And honestly, after every Reiki session, I felt a little bit more engaged with the.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge way, whether you are receiving Reiki or you're getting a Reiki attunement. That is a huge thing that shifts your vibration and opens your channels up. Now you're attuned to open and to receive.
It completely tapped parts of my brain that I hadn't thought about. And honestly, the first time I did Reiki, it was with a student. My aunt is a master Reiki. She taught Reiki. She uses it in her practice. She's a licensed therapist. Reiki is one of the things that she offers, and her student was doing it with me, and I had been up for a little bit, and I was laying on the table with my eyes were closed, and I was just trying to relax, and I was picturing myself spot in a place of relaxment, and then suddenly I was like transformed into a memory. My grandfather, who had been dead for well over 2 decades, almost over 3 decades now, his voice, I could see him, I could hear his voice. I have long forgotten what this man's voice sounded like, but I can still remember hearing it during the Reiki session. It's just like I never thought I would be able to remember what that voice sounded like again. But then I suddenly heard it, and it's like I could never forget it now. But I mean, do you think she tapped into parts of my brain that had closed off that memory, or do you think it was the spirit of my grandfather coming through?
So I've been practicing Reiki professionally for, I don't know, almost 20 years, so give or take. And I've a lot of people get off the table having some sort of profound I mean, it's almost 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
Get off the table and had some sort of an experience.
Yeah.
Whether they felt a huge amount of energy shifting, releasing, they literally feel lighter and brighter. They had, colors that they were seeing in their third eye. They got messages from loved ones. I mean, all of those things are quite common. Yeah.
The most profound change I've noticed since the second Reiki session is I used to see like shadow figures in the head out of my peripheral. Now they're not. They're people. I see people now. Not all the time. Not regularly. It's only happened maybe 6 or 7 times. But I definitely know it was a ghost.
I have a saying: if you can do it once, you can do it.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely believe I can do it. I said in the beginning half of the show, my mother earlier this week, we were just sitting in the den. My mother's legally blind. She has no vision in her right eye. She has partial vision in her left. She hasn't driven in like 35 years. She works with a cane, all that stuff. And she's like, she stopped with her, she just stops. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, see that? Just like a cat just went like right in front. A cat just like took 5 steps. Like, I had a cat that died about 4 or 5 months ago. Maybe it was that cat, maybe not. But I mean, my mother has seen like people in that area of the house clear as day. Described former like relatives, how they looked when they were like much younger. It's just like the way, I don't know. Just of all people, you wouldn't imagine my mother who was blind could see that. I mean, she's got a little vision, but it's just it's crazy what it. I don't know. Do you find it's hereditary? Do you find that it runs in the family?
I would say yes. There is definitely indication of that for sure. It doesn't necessarily go to everyone in the family.
Right.
But there's usually definitely like kind of a line that you can sort of trace. Sometimes I'm shown with people like where it came down from their lineage. But that being said, like I said, I think all of us really have the ability, with enough intention and practice, like anything. If you want to get good at tennis, you got to learn how to play what you're supposed to do, and then you got to practice every day.
Go out there on the court. Right now, what happens? We all ask, how do you tap it? How do you open it up? How do you shut it off? How do you say, all right, this is I need to go to bed, guys, shut up.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And literally I got asked by somebody like not 2 weeks ago. We had been having a whole conversation, and then at the end of the conversation they mentioned that they had lost a baby, and they were like, did you know I had lost a baby? And like, no, I really was sitting here really busy trying to block everything out, not tune into people's stuff. I also have very strict rules about permission, not before you start like tapping into somebody's information and things like that. And honestly, I find people, their energy can sometimes be overwhelming. So, when I'm in my situation, I can fully control the environment and that situation. When I'm out in public, it becomes more challenging.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you do? Is there anything you do on a physical to like shut that?
I have like a whole travel kit that I bring with me. So interestingly, so I have during COVID when we were in quarantine, about a month in, my guides pressured me to do a Facebook show. And I really did not want to do it. And I literally was like almost in tears the first episode that I did, because I did not want to be doing it. And, but I did. And interestingly, one of those early on episodes, I had gone just grocery shopping and ended up in like a full-blown panic attack, like trying to get out of the door that was chained up, because at that point they only had like one exit, and I was already in a panic attack, and then like the manager is there, and I'm crying. It, horrible mess. I couldn't get out of the store fast enough, and that was at the time when like you couldn't find toilet paper, shelves were barren. So it was like full-blown fear factor was just at, the
square is fair, right?
And then I left, and I was talking about it on the show, and I remember saying like I had forgotten to go in and like do my protection, all the stuff that I normally do. So the next time I went shopping, like the next week, I did all my stuff. I called in my guides for protection, Archangel Michael. I put up shields. I put on my psychic defense spray that I make. So I had some, crystals with me, all the things. So went in, got in and out, no issue, no anxiety attack, cleared with, sage and smudge right after. And kind of like reported back to everybody, and it was all good when I remember to heed my own advice.
There you go. Nice.
It's daily practice. I mean, like anything, you got to get in the practice of it, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I call that your daily energetic hygiene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every day, like you wouldn't your physical body, you would most likely not most days skip your shower, washing your hair, brushing your teeth, right? Those things are kind of like your core energetic daily hygiene. Well, we're not just physical bodies, we're also energy bodies. So your daily energetic hygiene is, I would say, especially the more sensitive you are, the more that's needed. That's going to be your daily grounding, daily shielding, daily clearing. That's your daily energy hygiene that you should be doing every day.
That's good tips.
Yeah, that will help kind of with the other stuff we're talking about, besides just like meditating. Like, what else can I do? That's what else you can do. Daily grounding, shielding, clearing. Grounding is going to be connecting in with earth energy at some point, whether that's through intention, meditation, energetic, or you're actually getting outside. You're putting your feet in the grass, you're gardening, you're hugging a tree, you're taking a walk, you're sitting on the beach. Those kinds
a lot of these things that you're talking about aren't just like centered around spirituality and spiritualism. A lot of these techniques are used actively in mental health and psychotherapy. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, and martial arts, like you mentioned, these are not concepts that are limited to any sort of
nothing really paranormal at all. It's very normal indeed.
Yeah, or paranormal. I think we just don't understand for the most part how energy works, and that's the big difference when you've been Reiki attuned. You start to understand and see how energy works beyond the physical, palpable. You start to see the matrix, if it were. I was chatting with one of my clients about that today. And you start to see things from like this higher and higher perspective beyond just the immediate human drama that you're in the midst of.
It's absolutely. I had a sensei years ago in martial arts. He's probably like a 7th or 8th degree black belt. He had been studying for years. He was in his 60s. He was either an engineer or in a law firm. And Qigon is, I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but that's the energy practice that they practiced. And he would be able to he's like, buddy, somebody could stand behind me and throw a punch. And I wouldn't see it at all, but I could feel the energy and I would turn and just throw that block. And he was renowned for this. People would try and get the jump on him in the hallway, and nobody could ever get it because it's like you can feel that energy coming in. It's
someone who I know who had been trained in martial arts also said the same thing, that their teacher would do that.
Next level. This is next level. I hope they get somewhere near it. That working in mental health, it'd be good to be able to perceive people's energies. I would think. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Some people can see auras, and that's actually something you can exercise your peripheral eye muscles.
So how do you get to see auras? How does that? What can you do to make yourself see auras? That's color.
Yeah.
Right?
So there's a couple different ways to do it. You can look in the mirror, or you can get a photo and put it on the wall, or have somebody stand in front of a wall. Generally, if there's a white or a black background, that's going to be best. And then here's the thing. As soon as you stare at it directly, you can't see it anymore. It disappears and goes away. So you can only look at it out of the corner of your eye, which is trippy. You can only see it out of the corner of your eye. And then, of course, you want to look at it directly. The minute you look at it directly, you can't see it anymore. So if you focus on someone's center of their forehead, then you can start to eventually see a thin outline of energy around them. The more you practice that, the thicker that can get. Some people will see color with that, kind of see it around them. Herlean photography is cool when you can actually photograph the aura. And I have it's not currently working, but when I had my aura camera working, I could take a picture of your aura with that camera. And I could literally look at that picture and tell you almost everything about you. Your personality type, how you perceive life, your divine life purpose, how you're feeling that day, if you have an upset stomach, if your shoulder's bothering you.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And it would be spot on. Yeah.
And the energy just comes off as a color, right? It comes off as a
Yeah, so
color.
the hand plates would read the different parts of the energy field and project them through a computer onto the Polaroid.
Wow.
So it was pretty interesting. And then interestingly, after a while, I would start to be like, I'd be like doing a reading, and then I'd be kind of like shown their aura, or I could like psychically see it if I ask. After a lot of years of working with the actual photos. Same thing with tarot. I sometimes, we're doing more of like channeling, and I'm not really pulling out tarot cards, but I might be shown a tarot card in my mind to, to talk to them about, and it will, apply to whatever is coming up or happen to be going on. So sometimes I think, like anything, whether it's cards or pendulum, those tools are great in the beginning to assist us when we don't really trust in ourselves.
Yeah.
But you don't want to use those as a crutch forever. Eventually, hopefully, you don't need the tools anymore.
The pendulum is so cool. It is so cool. I've used it, or I've had people use it rather on investigations, and when it's spelling out, like you ask it to spell out somebody's name, it'll spell out somebody's name sitting there. That's kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Or when they say your name to go right along with they'll spell like Joe, and then you'll hear it. That's like, what the fuck was that? That's really cool. That's it's just another form of validation. I think we need as spiritualists, investigators, mediums. I think we all need that little bit of validation. We're not just crazy talking in the dark to each other.
And that's why I think, you don't have to believe in Reiki, but like get a session, see what you feel. If it didn't do anything for you, it didn't do anything for you. But oh my gosh, what if it's the best thing that you ever experienced?
Right.
So
exactly.
So I think even with like up here, I've got the soul spa, or I'm renaming it to the divinity spa, because I've moved things around a little bit. But with any of these things, they're wellness tools and wellness tech, and I always feel like I can sort of describe to you what it will do, but what it's meant to do. But we're working with energy. Everybody's going to feel or receive a little bit differently. Everybody's in a different need or different vibrational frequency. So see it, try it and see what happens.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, in your website, you talk about sound therapy and crystal therapy. Can you talk a little bit about that? I'm all about the therapy piece. I love the intermixing of spiritualism and psychology. So go ahead, tell me a little bit about that. When you're done sipping your water, of course.
This is my favorite.
So this is one of the things that Brandon and I have been working with. And so crystals have a vibrational frequency. I would say each crystal is sort of like an energetic battery, if you will. And one type of crystal is emitting a certain set of energies and frequencies. Another type of crystal is emitting something a little different.
Yep.
So
sold already.
We already kind of said that like you're an energy body. If your energy body is sort of like this electrical, fuse panel, if you will. And so now we're adding these crystals, which we said are emitting certain frequencies. And we know crystals are used to transmit energy and focus energy in computers, watches, radios, phones. So, I mean, that's a scientific fact. So we're bringing those crystals now into your energy body. Your energy body is going to, whatever is the higher, stronger frequency is going to start to raise the other frequency up to it or down to it, if that makes sense. So if you have a crystal that's millions of years old, that's going to be a stronger, higher frequency than our lower vibrational, however many year old physical bodies. So that crystal will start to, resonate into our energy field.
Yep.
And shift and change some things around. Some crystals will absorb stuff that we're trying to release that we don't need. Some crystals are, giving us energy that we do need. It just, think of like when your body is lacking a certain vitamin or nutrient, you crave certain foods, you'll be drawn to certain crystals.
Yep.
That you're energetically in need of.
But
people come into the store and they're like immediately drawn to something.
Yes.
Not necessarily the prettiest thing in the store, but it's like calling to them.
Yep.
Buddy, there's been times when we're gonna go do a sound, like just a sound bath meditation, and then she'll like set the crystals based on whatever intention I have.
Mhm.
And there's been times where when she sets the crystals on, I can't explain it, but like it just feels like a release of like anything, like
Mhm.
everything in my body just goes, all right, we're good. You know what I mean? Like we're at peace right now, and then it's just unbelievable, dude. Like
I
people
mean,
that
honestly, sometimes people are out before I even start the sound. I put the crystal grid on them,
Mhm.
and then like I go to do the first ding of the bowl, and I hear snoring. They're already gone.
That'd be me.
And no, but I mean, it's you know, it's wild.
complete relaxation.
People come in, yeah, and they're come in and they're like stressed. They've been on the run. They've been stuck in
Mhm.
traffic. They're whatever is going on at work or at home, and get them on the table and get those crystals set. And every crystal grid is different. I have hundreds more than that of crystals at my disposal. Beautiful crystal tools that are tuned to certain energies or frequencies or purposes, and then they will speak to me and sort of let me know what crystals need to go where and what specific order placement. Sometimes there's sacred symbols and things like that for healing, or chakras or energy centers, or sacred geometry that will help the body to release whatever needs to release. So
no, that's and Bams, I mean, I know you can attest to this. As far as holistic healing, I mean, not even spirituality, just as a healing resource, this is something that you recommend to others.
I couldn't recommend anything higher. Like it's just there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? Like I know, like in this day of age, I think it's more common for people to look for like a pharmaceutical kind of approach to things.
Let me take a pill for it. And...
Right, and I don't think that's I think that some people, obviously we work in the mental health field, but
some people need that pill or two or eight. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not telling people to be like, hey, Bam said get off my meds. I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? But like I also think that the holistic healing aspect it can change a lot of things for you, like whether it's anxiety or like just anything. You know what I mean? Like
that's a big thing. Anxiety, depression. Are a lot of people come in for that.
And everything that you've talked about, meditation, grounding, the sound therapy and stuff, all this is actively being used in psychotherapy practices. So there's nothing like witchy or like
no, and think about back to that analogy we were talking about walk into a room and feeling like the discomfort or the tension from people that have been fighting. Now imagine that your energy body is a bit of like a sponge, right? And so while you were in that circumstance, when you walked into that room and that anxiety, that tension was going on, you absorbed a little bit of that. And then you leave the whole rest of the day and you're feeling a little bit anxious. You're feeling a little tense and you don't know why. Right? You're going to be like, why am I tense? Gosh, I don't really have anything that I'm personally tense about. Why am I feeling this way? It's not yours.
Right.
You absorb that in from somewhere or somebody else you are around. And of course, we're going to think it's ours, but it might not be. So if we're practicing those things like daily energetic grounding, shielding, clearing, then, because like I said, you could be with like the nicest people in the world, but at the end of the day, when I'm at home curling up on my couch and my Netflix, I just want my own energy in here.
For sure.
And otherwise I will start to feel very emotional, anxious, frustrated, tense, a whole bunch of things. And I call that like on my way to the empath breakdown. If I haven't cleared that out, I will get to the point where like somebody will just say like, oh, how are you? And I literally will just break. But I'm not okay. And then it all just, that's not pretty. So
buddy, there's been
regular staging, clearing with sage burning some sage or some Palo Santo.
So that's something
super quick.
That's something that I do regularly now.
Spray. If you don't like the smoke, I make some amazing I have over like 40 different types of clearing and smudging sage sprays that I make here at the sanctuary that are wildly popular. So that's one way. If you're traveling, if you're at work, you can't like whip out your sage stick and start going to town, then, you know, there's like a spray option. You know, there's meditative things you can do with that too, but
you can't always light the sage on fire, but yeah, there's those other options.
Yeah.
And as an investigator, I've had people
getting a sea salt bath. That's
sage.
another huge thing. Just getting into a sea salt bath. Honestly, salt is sacred and it's hugely powerfully clearing. So that's another.
I've seen people use it to like.
That's a big empath thing. How I prevent the empath breakdown.
Yeah, I've seen people use sea salt to like in front of entrances and windows. And want to like
that is a whole thing.
Clear it out. Yeah, right. It's like, really, that works? They're like, yeah, okay, sure, maybe.
It works.
Who might say it doesn't? Maybe. So let me ask something. You do the tarot cards now, right? You're a tarot card reader.
Yeah, I started with tarot. These days, I'm doing more channeling and you know, mediumship, and things are just I don't even really need to pull cards usually.
Okay, so
but you know, sometimes people come in and they specifically want tarot. I teach tarot. I'm doing a talk on the history of tarot and using it as a modern day GPS coming up at the Brewster Women's Library in May.
Oh, that's fun. Do you have a deck of tarot cards on you right now?
Not right next to me. I don't.
Okay, so when we first talked about booking you on the show, I asked you if you would be willing to do like readings or anything. I didn't line up anybody. Unfortunately, I had just done readings with a couple weeks ago with a medium. Could you do a quick reading for me though?
She doesn't have the cards.
Oh, you don't have the cards.
Yeah, put me on the spot like that, huh?
No, she doesn't have the cards.
My cards. So let's see.
I'm sorry.
Well, I normally have a whole process that I go through.
I'm just throwing it at you really quick.
Yeah, no, I actually would love to next time bring some cards and maybe dive in that way.
Yeah, we can do that. We can set that up for the next time.
Yeah, for sure.
Buddy, there was the last time I went to Amy was last week, right? And I was having like just I don't know. I was just feeling off. You know what I mean? Like there was a blockage and all that stuff. And I wasn't like regularly meditating as much as I usually do and all this stuff. And like, you know, and that just makes me feel completely more off. And who would have thought that that would be the way that I go about things now? But we had like some weird, I don't know how to explain it. There's like very weird occurrences that happen sometimes in my meditations. And then Amy's able to break them down. If Amy would be like, did you see anything? And then I'll tell her. And then she'll like go into like what she heard or saw and everything like that. I don't know how to bring it up. Do you want to go into it, Amy? Like a little bit of what happened the last time I was with you?
So interestingly, I don't honestly remember everything. Because a lot of times when it's happening or when I'm receiving, it's coming through me, not from me. And then afterwards, I'm like, what just happened? But sometimes it's also like the really profound thing. So I do remember that I was shown a scene from that movie, The Kells, The Secret of the Kells, which is like an old animated Irish film that's super interesting. And then we were talking about connecting with one of your guides, and we set a very specific intention for like the guide who was in charge of your spiritual growth and development to come forward, because then prior to that you had seen some different animal imagery and things like that. So I saw the Celtic hooded monk from that movie, and then he kind of came forward, and then all of a sudden he pulled his hood back, and lo and behold, Merlin came out. The
wizard.
Yes, the one and only. So so he came forward as a guide for you, and then there was some other, I forget, there was something else with the electrical panels, some rewiring or something that happened.
there was I remember you saying there was like some rewiring that was happening in me.
Yeah, that was like super profound. I seem to remember they almost showed me like like almost like an electrical panel, and
Mhm.
that's right. They said they were like upgrading you, and they were like pulling out some plugs and putting them in some other areas, and then they added in like like an extra part to the panel, so there were some additional switches in there.
Right.
Mhm.
So, buddy, this is like one of the things that I keep going back to the sanctuary because, like, when stuff happens during meditation and stuff, like, you can definitely, like, we've talked about this, buddy. There's mediums out there and there's people out there that take advantage of the spirit world and just try to feed
Yes.
people bogus stuff.
Yes.
For sure.
And like, it's unfair to the people that they're supposed to be helping and serving, and like
100%.
they're setting people up for like a bad experience and like a not true thoughtful experience. So like, what I do is typically after I see Amy, like, I'll look up what does all this stuff mean? You know what I mean? Like, and Amy will send me links and everything like that to like what it, you know what I mean? Like, what's the deeper meaning of this stuff? And then I'll go on when I meditate on my own, and then
Mhm.
that I'll set the intentions with like with Merlin and stuff like that. Like, there's different meditations like geared towards him. You know what I mean? Like, which I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then right when I looked it up, it was like, you know, you're on the verge of a spiritual awakening, and that's why this ascended master has come to you, and like the meditations and all this stuff. And like, if you set intentions this way, and
Mhm.
it is, I just want people to know, like, when you go to not a place like the sanctuary, because there's no place like the sanctuary except for the sanctuary itself. Like, it's in Cape Cod. I've said this a million times. It's literally the most magical place, like, and just a life changer if you keep an open mind and go into it with the right intentions. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not going to get bogus information, and you're not going to get someone that's just trying to make it feel like you know what I mean, you got your money worth or anything like that. Like, Amy actually cares and like sets you up to do
Yeah,
stuff
if for
on your
some
own.
reason there's a block or something's just not connecting or not coming through, like, I'm human. I'm not necessarily 100% on
Right.
100% of the time, but I for sure recognize if I'm not, and
Right.
I know as I'm getting into it, like I'm getting stuck, nothing's flowing like it normally is. Then I'm just honest and I just tell the person, I'm so sorry, but for whatever reason,
Right.
you know, do you want to do something else? Do you want to stop the reading? You know, I don't charge for that, like if I can't perform the service. So that's my personal integrity, and I personally think all, you know, anyone doing this kind of work should be holding themselves to that same high standard, because
Of course.
when I put my work forward, I am speaking for, you know, the bigger community at
Mhm.
large of people who do energy work, psychic work, mediumship work, intuitive work,
Right. Right. Of
any of
course.
those types of things. Yeah.
Of course.
So that's
I
something
I have
that super
experiences with
important.
mediums.
Like holding that highest level of integrity and holding that highest level of expectation to myself. And if you come and sit with me, like, I am intending and expecting fully that that session is going to be life changing, if
Yep.
at all possible.
Well,
In some way. So
I mean, as an investigator, it's I have to hold the highest standards of integrity. You as a medium, same thing, because like one bad apple is gonna like destroy the entire bunch of it. One bad experience with an asshole is just gonna like ruin all the good work that everybody else is doing. So integrity is like key in this field. Key. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
so what?
unfortunately, I get sometimes those people that have come in and they've had really bad experiences
mhm.
at other places or with other people, and they're like traumatized or scarred,
Yeah.
or they're not sure if they want to, you know, do that again, if they can trust again, you
Right.
know. But I
So,
always
People trying
buddy,
to peddle bullshit. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vance. What?
part of that experience, right? I had told Amy some of the visions that I had when I was meditating and stuff, and
Mhm.
I was just like, yeah, I saw a wolf, I saw this, like, you know what I mean? Like, then she told me what she saw. She saw the Merlin and the scene from the movie, right? And then I was like, what the fuck would a kids movie have anything to do with me?
Mhm.
you want it?
Like, I had literally have it queued up for tonight. I've been like busy, but I did look up like the synopsis of it, right? And at the end of
Yeah.
it says accompanying him on his dangerous mission in Isling, which is in Scotland, or Ireland, half wolf, half human fairy whose powers help guide Brennan through this enchanting yet dangerous new world. And I was like, all right, well, that's just weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, all right, this
and it
chick-
has your name in there. Yeah, that's
I was literally just gonna say, wait,
Right.
what? I didn't
Yeah,
remember. I haven't seen it in years.
the main character's name is Brendan, and he's like on this journey.
weird.
And when I looked it up, I was like, way too
Spirit is hilarious.
Irish folklore.
Really, because I'm like, really, you're gonna make me tell this, grown man to go watch this cartoon movie? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I just
I
tell
will
him,
watch
like it comes to me. And then the other wild thing I remembered is that after that, you were like, oh, I had the vision the last time of the cobra and the
Yep.
dragon, and so after you left, I looked up the Kells and I sent you the link to the movie.
Yep.
Then I looked up the spiritual significance around, I was trying to look up cobra. And as I went to this specific site that I like to go to look at that, this whole thing came up on the connection between snakes and Celtic. And I'm like, wait a minute. Dun, dun, dun. That's what we're talking about. So I clicked the thing and oh my God, it's a whole thing. Cobras are this whole thing in like Celtic mysticism and of course many other cultures. And then you're like, oh, I just got this cobra tattoo because that had come through in the vision. And I'm
Weird. Yeah, that's the.
like,
There's no such thing as coincidence. Somebody once said.
I don't believe in
Sure,
coincidence.
100% not at all. Yeah.
And Amy, this is before I met you, obviously, but when me and Buddy started this podcast a couple of years ago, you couldn't have met a bigger skeptic to anything. Like I was like, I'll do it, but I don't believe in any of it. You know what I
Let
mean?
me show you this. Let me show you that. Let me show you this. Let me
Right.
show you that.
And then Buddy's like, we'll see. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
I
very
didn't believe in
cool.
crystals until they were vibrating in my hand and I was
Mhm.
feeling energy shift and move and release off me.
So that's a big
What
thing.
the heck?
too.
This stuff is real.
That's a big thing when you do the crystals, right? The crystal healing and stuff like that. Sometimes it literally feels, Buddy, it feels like there's like a cell phone vibrating in my hand.
I believe it. I believe it.
Like, is that like?
Sometimes people feel like the crystals have sunk into their body.
Yep.
Mhm.
And they're like super heavy. Other times they feel like all of a sudden something like shifted and released and they just feel lighter.
I almost
Or
feel a
there
buzz sometimes.
There was a couple times where like when Amy took the crystals, they were like red hot, like from my hands, and I was
Mhm.
like, what is that about? And she's like, well, they're just like catching all the energy that your body's putting out and trying to release. And I was like,
Jeez, yeah.
"Uh,
It's definitely
I
cool
think
work.
they're working hard.
yeah.
They're heating up like that. A lot of action going on.
A
Energy.
lot of paranormal theory wrapped around crystals and like geological features that might empower some of this paranormal energy. There's something to be said about all of it. Unfortunately, boys and girls, we're growing closer to the end of tonight's
Yeah.
programming. It's close to 10 o'clock.
Maybe
Amy,
we'll
is there
talk more
anything?
about that next time.
I-
Or crystal
yeah,
skulls, if you know
next
anything
time on
about
the
crystal
Coach
skulls.
Show.
It's an interesting
Amy,
topic.
if you send me like a picture of that flyer, or I can take it this weekend, but if you send me a picture of that flyer of you, the talk that you're going to do about the tarot card reading, I'll put it on our Facebook
I'll
and
put it everywhere,
our
yeah.
Instagram.
Oh, sure.
and
It was just like a free thing at the library
Yeah.
that people can go to.
But we'll put it on our website.
When
and
is that?
everything
When is
on
that?
Facebook for you.
When is
That is May. Let's see if I have it in my calendar here. I want to say it's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. It's a good day to do ghosty stuff.
It's a perfect day.
Yeah, right.
Tuesday, May 20th
Oh, nice.
at the Brewster Ladies Library. 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
That'd be good. And this is your website here at the bottom.
Ladies
I've been
Library
running
open to everyone.
the entire show, www.thesanctuarycapecod.com, right?
That's right.
Thank God I wasn't running somebody else's. For a while, you guys might have seen me run this one, the GoFundMe page. The gentleman I showed his picture in the beginning of the show, he just passed away. His family's raising money to try and get his services all taken care of. So that's, if you know Ken Lively, if you know Melissa, great people.
I don't, but buddy, text me that link and I'll put some money towards it.
Hey, I appreciate that, dude. He got out of recovery, like started drinking that day, and it killed him in 3 days. Fucking 34 years old. Crazy.
Unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes.
Right.
I mean, that sucks. Definitely send me that link, and I'll.
Yeah.
Now knowing that, I'll probably maybe put a little more in the pot, but
Yeah.
I'll make a donation to it tonight.
His mom is just a fantastic woman. And it couldn't have happened to a worse person. So it's never easy, but it's
No.
even harder when it's your kid and your only kid and they're 34 years old. It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's awesome.
Oh, okay, boys and girls. So you're on the socials as well, Amy. People can find you out and about.
I have the Facebook page for the
Mhm.
sanctuary. We also have the YouTube page, which has those older episodes of the Live at Amy 333 show. I also have started putting like some 1-minute meditations on there,
Nice.
just like nature, and it's like literally 60 seconds or less. Some of them are like 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Cool.
Just want to tune in and like watch some rain falling for 40 seconds.
Yeah, whatever helps.
Something
Whatever
like that.
helps.
So yeah, and if you hop on onto the website, there's all the information about the spa readings. There's going to be some upcoming, classes and meditations that'll be going on here, as well as back into the teaching and event schedule too.
Nice. Bams, you got anything you
And
want
of
to
course,
push?
the gift store. You can buy your sage, your crystals,
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
pendulums, the cards, all the stuff. All the tools.
Bracelets, necklaces, everything, dude.
Yep.
Crystals. I have a bunch of
The
crystals
beautiful
now.
crystal
All over the place.
jewelry. Yeah.
Nice. Out there in Brewster.
Nice.
Bams, is there anything you want to push before we wrap up?
No, the mid card is going to reboot soon with a new
Well,
partner since Joey is
Fathering a
he's
child.
He's you know what I mean, he's doing the whole family thing. So
He's up to his elbows in baby diapers.
Yeah, so
he bought a Labruski thing to do the beer thing with us. He hasn't been out once. He's like, oh yeah, but I'm on paternity leave. I'll have all this time. Yeah, we haven't seen Joe at all.
But he's got an open invitation to come on whenever he does.
Oh,
but
whenever he wants.
We're working on rebooting it right now. So probably
Nice.
in a couple of weeks we'll be up and running.
Well, that'd be good, though. That'd be a good time. Next week, tune in here on The Ghost and the Goat as we host a most legit guest, Sin Schrader Hill. She's an author. She's a fellow podcaster. We podcasted together in the past. She's done podcasting with people, and she's coming on my podcast. We're gonna chat shit about ghosting. She wrote a book on experiences with the afterlife, investigating the paranormal, and then she did one for spouses who lost somebody and their experiences afterwards. And I made one of the chapters. So she's going to join us for the word on her new book and all that she's got going. I think she's down there in Tennessee, so she's got a little bit of a southern drawl. She's really sweet to listen to. She's a sweetheart of a woman. Sin Schrader Hill, author, will join us live next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Tune into 3 Dudes Brews for all of our pre-recorded stuff. We're recording at Crafted Hope Brewery on Saturday. You'll be able to crack that one open next month. And we do every other Thursday, so not this Thursday, but next Thursday, the last call, 3 Dudes Brews, where we talk about everything and nothing, and of course, beer. So tune in for all that good stuff. For Amy Marino, Dan Marino's cousin, for Bams, the goat. This is Buddy Thayer. This has been the Ghost of the Goat. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good week. Peace out.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.